how much of their income do you think they send back to the Philippines?
I believe at least 50 to 70%. And well, if you're an OFW right now watching this podcast, can you please type in the comment box how much are you living off your present income? Probably you'll be shocked and surprised they're living off only 10 to 20%.
That's insane.
Chinkee Tan is a household name in the Philippines when it comes to financial wisdom. A best-selling author, renowned speaker, and the guy millions of Filipinos turn for straightforward, practical advice on money management and investing. Known for his clear idea, no-nonsense approach, Chinkee helps break down complex financial ideas into simple strategies anyone can follow. Today, he's here to openly discuss the unique hardships and scams overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, frequently encounter and share valuable insights on how to overcome bad habits to develop a healthier, wealthier mindset.
How many OFWs are following you?
Right now, I would say at least 10 to 20% of my followers are overseas.
And that's about what?
1 to 2 million.
That's quite a lot. Do they talk to you a lot?
Yeah, they do.
What's their biggest common problems they deal with?
Well, it's the pressure to send money to their relatives and loved ones.
That must be insane. Yeah, that pressure is...
Yeah, it is insane. It's not only a financial thing. It's not only a financial aspect, but it's a mental, emotional aspect. You just imagine the burden of you going there and then you being alone there in a foreign country. At the same time, you have to adjust, adapt to the culture, to the people. And there's so many discriminations there.
Right, and a lot of these guys are taking jobs in other countries that the locals don't want.
Yeah.
Right, and they're not necessarily in the best condition. And then they're saving their money and they're spending all their money. They're sending all their money back home.
Yeah, and then the sad part is they always, as providers, as breadwinners, we call them breadwinners, they will put up a very brave front, that they're okay, they're happy, they're doing well, but deep inside, when they're locked inside their own room already by their own, it's one of the darkest and then the saddest moment that they can experience.
What kind of stories do they tell you?
Oh, it's really so sad. I can still remember when I was in Hong Kong. I can remember her name. Her name is Atelita. We call her Atelita.
Atelita.
Yeah, she served that family for over, I think, 2 decades already. And it's so unfortunate that his father passed. And she needs to come back to Manila, to the Philippines, to pay the last respect. And when she asked permission from the owner, from the boss did not allow her to go back. You know what's the reason?
Why?
Because they're going to take a vacation and no one's going to take care of the dog.
Oh my God. That's terrible.
So it was really a painful moment. And then witnessing her and then telling that story, it really broke my heart.
Man, this must... And then a lot of these people are sacrificing raising their own kids to be there.
Yeah, the amazing thing, especially when you're in Hong Kong and Singapore, chances are you'll become a house help, or if not, you'll be a nanny. And you're taking care of others, your boss's child, without you being able to take care of your own child physically.
Right. And then there's no protection for them. They're just kind of at the mercy of their bosses, basically.
Yeah, and not only that, there's so much pressure, again, sending of money back to their own relatives and friends. However, there are moments that they're challenged. And then, again, if you can go back to the statistics, every time when there's a global recession, economic crisis, worldwide or Asian crisis, economists will always say that the OFW remittances will go down.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, makes sense.
Because they lost their jobs, or probably the boss, they cannot pay them already the amount they used to pay.
Right.
But surprisingly, every time when there's a crisis, the OFW remittances increases.
Right. You know, I was talking to David Lee Chu, and he was saying the bottom market in the real estate market here doesn't default so much. It's the middle market that defaults. because the bottom market has OFW remittances to cover them.
Yeah. You know what they will do? They will borrow money just to send it back here.
Oh, wow.
And the sad part is when they borrow money, they don't borrow at a low interest.
They're borrowing at predatory interest rates.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, I can still remember when I was in Hong Kong also, I witnessed, in order for them to borrow money, aside from the high interest, they have to leave their passports as a collateral.
Wow. And then they can't leave.
They cannot leave unless they pay everything in full. So, and then the worst part is, because again, probably they don't know the charges, they don't know.
We'll get into that, but how much of their income do you think they send back to the Philippines?
At least, I believe, at least 50 to 70%.
So basically, that's more than, okay, when you think about the average discretionary income, it's not 50 to 70%.
Yeah, because you need to also pay for your own, probably buy your own necessities there. You have to eat
Right.
also.
So how can you send 50 to 70%? They must be living in really subpar standards.
Yeah,
To be able to send 70% of your income back, you're really cutting costs.
yeah. And well, if you're an OFW right now watching this podcast, you will understand. Can you please type in the comment box how much are you living off your present income? Probably you'll be shocked and surprised they're living off only 10 to 20%.
That's insane.
It is.
And then so 70% of this money gets remitted every single month.
Yeah.
Do you know like what the remittance cost is for this? I mean, that in itself is pretty significant.
Yeah, before we go to the remittance cost, I would like to probably shed light at the same time, open Pandora's box.
Okay.
Going
Please.
back again for people who borrow from high interest from the loan sharks, as we can say. They get their passports, and if they cannot afford to pay, I've seen their war room.
What happens to them?
They will call the person and shame them by saying, "You're so dumb, you're so illiterate. That's the reason why you're a maid.
Wow.
You cannot when you borrow, you cannot even afford to pay."
You've actually heard these people on the phone calling them,
Because that
collecting money.
yeah, they use shaming as a way to collect money. That was in the 90s.
Okay. And that worked.
That worked because right now, if you notice, right now here in the Philippines, there's what we call as OLAP, or online lending app.
Yeah.
That is also their style of collecting money from people who borrows from online lending app right now. Before you can borrow right now, what they do, they don't get passports, they don't get anything, they don't get your ID, they just get your social media account.
And they're berating you on social media?
No, not berating you on social media, not shaming you on social media, but all your contacts. They will message all your contacts and then say that this person is a scammer. He borrows but never pays back. You shouldn't
my
trust that
God.
person. So that's how they do it.
I had no idea that's how they collect money here.
So it was so unfortunate during the time when I was in Hong Kong. I experienced and heard stories of people taking their own life.
Over the shaming. It's like
Yes.
cyberbullying.
Yes, it is. So that's the reason why OFWs always have the pressure to always send money back. That's number one. And they feel guilty. They feel guilty if they don't send back. And the sad part, oftentimes they're unappreciated and used.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. Out of the 10 times that they helped, 10 times they asked, 9 times they were able to help. If they just default once or say no once, they would say, you're so selfish, you're so full of yourself, it's because that you're there. That's the reason.
That guilt. Yeah, I mean, that family guilt. Super. You know, and I know you talk about this a lot. You talk about the poor mindset, and you talk about having the wealthy mindset. How can you have a wealthy mindset when your family is pressuring you to send all your money and you can't invest in yourself first?
Yeah, I always tell people, in order for you to become wealthy and successful, probably have a better life, you have to change your way of thinking.
Right.
Because your way of thinking will dictate your way of living. Wrong way of thinking, wrong way of living. Right way of thinking, right way of living.
So many OFWs are already sacrificing so much, leaving home, adjusting to new cultures, and then on top of that, they're getting charged huge fees for just sending money back. That's why I recommend checking out Nala. No hidden fees and some of the best exchange rates out there, so your family receives more of what you send. They're trusted by over 500,000 users globally and built specially for communities like ours. Download Nala today, use code JOHNDANG, and when you send $50, you'll get $20 back. You deserve a service that helps your money go further.
It doesn't really matter what you believe in life. The question that needs to be asked every single day, are you believing in the truth? Or are you believing in a lie?
So are you saying that these OFWs need to see this like guilt as some sort of lie and manipulation on them from
Yeah.
their family?
Yeah, because always remember, there's a principle that your strength can also be your weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Their strength, they're compassionate, they're really giving, caring, loving. And sometimes some people intentionally or unintentionally abuse it. Let's talk about unintentionally. They just say, okay, I know that you want to help us, so that's the reason why they're thankful and grateful. But to the point, unintentionally, they don't know they're causing so much pressure and stress. But there's also people who does it unintentionally. The reason why I send you there, the reason why I help you to be there, is for you to help and support us for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, remember the one time I helped you?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's called the...
now you got to help us.
Yeah, it's called the debt of gratitude. We call
Yeah.
it in Philippines, utang na loob.
Utang. Yeah.
And that's the hardest debt to repay. You cannot really...
You never can pay it back, right? It's just always held over your head.
It's just like saying, I know what you did last summer. It's just like saying, I gave you 50 pesos when you had nothing, and then that was your... they're now collecting from that. It's really so sad. So it's very important that you have to change your way of thinking. I always challenge the OFWs. Yes, you can help, okay? But always remember the principle. If you're listening to this podcast, I hope this will be a wake-up call for you, that you can never give what you do not have.
That's what I was trying to say. Is like, how do you give that advice? Like, if you want to help your family, you got to help yourself first. You have to build yourself up so that you have, a plethora and you have an abundance to give back.
Yeah.
But if you don't have an abundance, how can you help anybody?
Yeah, if you want to help, alam niyo mga kababayan, kung gusto niyo talagang tumulong, you give out of really surplus. Okay? You cannot give out of lack because you'll be drained.
Right.
You cannot run a car with an empty gas.
Absolutely.
So you must be filled first. Take care of yourself. It's called self-care. It's not selfish. Take care of yourself mentally, emotionally, financially, so that you'll be able to give more and produce more. Mm-hmm. Like the podcast that we're doing right now, we're doing this not because I'm under so much stress, I have financial problems, I don't think I can think right. So it will be better if you're full of energy, full of fulfillment, and then once you are so full, you can give. Number two, if you want to give, it's okay. Just set a limit. Yeah. There must be a limit. Okay, I can only afford to give this much, only 30% or 40% of my income. Beyond that, I cannot give. And always remember, that your younger you will take care of the older you.
Right.
So if you give everything, who will take care of you when you retire? And there's so much stories, especially when they come back here and they have no more money. And then all of a sudden they feel that they're just like trash.
Oh man.
They're washed up. I mean, say since he cannot give more, or she cannot give more, then they're not anymore the priority.
How do they? Have you ever been able to give them practical advice when they're being guilted by their family to send
Yeah.
them money? What do they say to them? Like, what is the practical advice you can give these OFWs?
Yeah, if you're an OFW out there and you felt guilt and you feel so much pressure that you need to give beyond what you can really give, I want to challenge you right now, even you, John, probably at the count of 3, I want everybody to look at the palm of your hands. 1, 2, 3. Let's look at the palm of your hands. Look at the middle of the palm of your hands. Do you see any nail holes or nail marks?
No.
So you are not the Savior. You are not Jesus. So you should tell your relatives to depend on God, not on you.
Or depend on themselves.
Yeah. Because definitely you are just a channel of blessing, but you are not the blesser.
Right.
So it's very important for you. Again, there's another practical saying that it's better for you to teach a man how to fish.
Then to
Yeah,
fish
rather
for
than to
them.
give them a fish.
And you're creating this dependency on you.
Yeah.
Right? And you're encouraging this dependency when you're.
Yeah, again, let's go back to the way of thinking. I have one perfect example. She's been following me over my radio program for over 15 years. She lives in Europe and she is a house help, okay, there. And then she started to follow me and then listen to my way of thinking in terms of teaching them how to manage their finances. So basically, before she sent money, she always saved a little for herself. And then when she sent money, again, I taught her the principle, teach them how to fish. You know what she did? She encouraged her parents to start a sari-sari store at their place, at their house. And then funded the sari-sari store slowly.
Okay.
And then right now, the sari-sari store makes enough money for them to live independently. So basically what she did, she stopped sending money right now and she started to save more money, and she basically followed my next advice to start investing. She basically purchased land at their own hometown and then built 3 apartments. And the 3 apartments right now is helping her to yield at least 30 to 40,000 pesos a month, while she's still there in Europe. So right now, I asked her, how much do you need in order for you to survive when you come back? I just need 20,000 a month. I can live comfort. I have a place, I have a house, I have rental units already. Why don't you come back? Well, I still want to work here. It's not because I want to. It's not because I need to. It's because I want to.
Right.
Because I love the place here. I love the environment. I love my bosses. So basically, she's not working under pressure or under stress. She's having the time of her life. When she comes back here in the Philippines, she's already secure. Her parents are already secure.
So that's great success story.
Yeah. And that should be the thing.
Yeah.
It's because going abroad is not a permanent thing. It's a temporary thing.
And they always come back.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Except if you bring your family there. Some of them lives there already, right? However, most of the time, are probably around 80%, they will come back.
Right.
Because they're only under contract. They're not citizens there of that country.
And we hear a lot about OFWs, especially in America, and they'll go to America and they'll establish themselves. They'll create a good life for them and for their kids. And then when they retire, they come back here.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
And the kids are like, "What? You worked all your life to make it here in the U.S. And then once we do, you go back to the Philippines to retire." The draw is so powerful.
Yes.
It's that connection with people here.
It is because Filipinos are really, we're really closely knitted. At the same time, we are really connected with relationships and communities.
Right.
So it's a different thing. It's really a different thing.
And this whole, and it's crazy because it's a bit of an anomaly. It's, this country that boasts so much of their GDP coming from OFW remittances.
Yeah.
And that says so much about the people.
Yeah.
And it's such a beautiful thing. But here in the Philippines, there's just so many things that are broken and ugly about this country as well. So kind of an anomaly,
Yeah.
right?
And then going back to what you're mentioning also, one of the most major problems of OFWs are remittances.
Right.
Do you know that in the year 2023, over 8 billion pesos was lost
Right.
by the OFW because of remittances?
I saw that. And, you know, the thing that always drives me nuts, like, okay, you have remittance fees, right? And they'll tell you what the remittance fee. One thing I notice about Filipinos, especially oftentimes I pay them in dollars, they don't think about the exchange rate. They don't think about the amount of money they're losing in exchange.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about let's give them some practical financial advice. You mentioned the loan shark, avoiding bad predatory loans. And we talked about that on our last podcast quite a bit.
Yeah.
But there's at least 5 to 9%
Yeah.
loss
Yes.
in remittances
Yeah.
every month they send. And if you do think about that, what do you pay on a monthly rate on a mortgage? Probably
Yeah.
less than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
On interest.
Exactly. For your house, yeah, definitely it's less.
So you're living you're living under means, you're sending all your money back, and you're getting taxed that much for remittances.
Yeah, just to give you a perspective, when you send 10,000 back to the Philippines, almost around 1,000 pesos or less, 500 to 1,000 pesos is lost. So from the money that you send. Number one, because of the hidden transfer fees,
Yeah.
which is around from 1% to 5%.
Well, that's the thing. Some of these places advertise zero fees.
Yeah.
But it's never zero fees.
Definitely, how can they make money if
Right.
it's zero fees? It's just like going to a appliance store and then say, okay, you do what do you call this, 12 months zero interest. I don't think a businessman will give you loan for 12 months with zero interest. But if you ask, if I pay in cash, do I have discount? Yes, you have discount, 7% or 8%.
So they priced it in already.
Exactly. So likewise with money remittances, it's the same. They would say zero interest, but in reality, it doesn't have zero interest because they need to make money. And then on top of that, again, that's the first fee, the hidden transfer fees. And the second fee is the exchange rate, which is normally around 2 to 4% of the amount that you send.
Right.
Yes.
Which is significant. That's quite significant.
Yeah, for every 10,000, you're talking about 200 to 400. For 100,000, we're talking about 2,000 to 4,000. For a million, we're talking about 20 to 40,000. Because we just don't mind the 200 to 400 pesos because it's quite small. But if you talk about numbers by the millions, I mean, say 20 to 40,000 is a large amount of money.
I have an interesting statistic for you. Let's say you're an OFW sending $500 per month for the next 20 years. This is what your cost is going to be approximately. You're going to pay approximately 120,000 pesos in fees, which is going to equate to about $6,000. And then your foreign exchange loss
Yeah.
in currency is going to be approximately $4,000. And your total of that 20-year, your remittances over 20-year period for $500 a month is going to be $10,000 or 550,000 pesos,
That's amazing.
right? And that's a significant chunk.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, it's so sad that you work hard for it. Pinaghirapan mo na yung pera. And every month, you get really a cut. It's really a cut from... That's the reason why I have some solutions for some people who are sending money. Number one, use low transparent platforms that are really transparent.
So how do they address this? How do they read the fine print and understand this and make the proper comparison and pick the right applications to use?
No, the best way for you is to try. If you send 10,000 pesos through this remittance, ask your relatives how much did they receive.
Right.
And then use another app or use another service. And then again, same 10,000, how much do they receive?
Right.
So immediately you will know already.
which one.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely the exchange rate will differ a little bit. So you just look at the remittance rate because it will show also the remittance rate, the exchange rate. Yeah.
I always encourage my team to open up a US dollar account because I pay them in US dollars. But they always just say, well, no, the bank will exchange it to my peso account.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? And then I'm like, no, open the US dollar account. And then after a while, they shut it down. I was like, why'd you shut it down? Well, because I need a minimum maintaining balance in there or they charge me.
Yeah, you know what I realized as a content creator myself, because we get paid for at my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
It was first in peso.
Right.
I
But now
got-
they pay you in dollars, right?
No, because I requested it. Because when my bank manager told me, every time when they remit to you in dollars and we exchange
They
it,
exchange. They
it-
take
it
the
feel-
exchange fee. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know how much you're losing on a monthly basis. And when he told me the number, I was floored.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it for years. And when I computed it, it was even more than enough for me to buy a brand new car.
Wow. So the moral of the story is, if you don't take the exchange if you don't have to.
Yeah, not only that, the moral of the story is for you to get educated financially. Kailangan matuto kayo. You should really learn because that's only one small aspect in terms of OFW remittances.
Right.
So if you are financially literate, you'll be charged more, not only on the remittance rate, but also buying a property when you are abroad and your contract is only for 5 years and you're going to pay for 20 years. Easily can pay the first 5 years.
Right.
But after the 5-year contract has ceased, who will continually to pay? So that's the reason why they made a reservation, they made a down payment for 5 years, and after 5 years, they're going to pay anymore. So what happens? So all of their investment or probably payments gone, and they lost all of their life savings. So that's only one aspect. That's the reason why I want to push for financial literacy. That's the reason why ever since 15 years ago, when I started to do this, my goal is to reach our OFW communities. That's the reason why I started my YouTube channel, my Facebook channel, to be able to reach out to them because they are the ones that needs financial education. We're talking about remittances only in one small part. It's an invisible thing.
Right.
We're talking about only real estate, property, purchasing.
Right.
Let's talk about scams.
Right. There's so many that's targeting these guys.
Because the scammers know, or the people who runs this thing know that they have disposable income.
Right.
How can you scam a person that doesn't have money? So they will really target them.
They're perfect for real estate scams, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's a given already. But I'm talking about investment scams.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, investment scams, like for example, you just give your money, they invest, because that's the problem of OFWs. They have so much disposable income, or some of them have savings. They don't know, they cannot start a business because they're there, they have work, they're professionals. So they have money lying around, but it's not growing. So they ask, where can I put my money without me doing anything and I will earn something back? So some of them will promise them 10% per month, 20% per month. And then all of a sudden, they're 100,000 making 10,000 to up.
Okay, so let's say they're in Singapore or the US. Are they gonna like invest in these financial instrument whatever country they're at? Would that be a better bet, or in some financial instrument here in the Philippines?
Definitely, I would suggest that the rule in terms of investment is never invest in something that you do not understand, no matter how profitable it may be. I think that will be the base foundation. So do you know the investment that you're going to invest, whether locally or internationally? If the answer is no, why are you putting your money there?
Right.
Okay, and then number two, okay, locally, internationally, it all depends also on the risk factor. Are you going to stay internationally for the long term? You're going to live there? Definitely, you should consider to invest something internationally.
Right.
But if you plan to go back here in the Philippines, it would be wise also to invest locally.
Well, let's think about that for a second. I think there's a lot of limitations here in terms of like financial vehicle and investments, right? Like something like the States, the US, for example, would have a much more robust product of financial instruments you can invest in.
Yeah.
Right. And there are some tax incentives to do so. Like, for example, if you're working in the US, you can invest in a 401k. That means my income doesn't get taxed. It's pre-tax income that goes into this investment vehicle. And as long as I don't pull it out, I don't pay taxes
Yeah,
on it.
exactly.
It will continue to compound, grow, pay dividends to itself, and grow and not pay taxes.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden you have a non-tax vehicle. But also at the same time, if I send money to remit money to the Philippines, that's also non-taxed. But I'm sending money to the Philippines on after-tax income,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So there are some trade-offs there. Your family receiving remittances isn't taxed. You know, the Philippines does tax all of their employees. You work for corporations, you're paying taxes without you even knowing it because it's coming out of your paycheck before you even see the income.
Exactly.
And they don't realize how much taxes they're paying.
Yeah, aside from that tax that you're referring, again, we talked about already remittance tax per se. We're talking about 4 to 10%.
Remittance tax, but not income from
Yeah.
not income tax from the remittance.
Yeah.
So, for example, if we're in the Philippines, we're remitted money to our OFW relatives in America. Well, being in America, you're going to pay taxes on that,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
And
definitely.
in most countries, you're going to have to pay taxes on that because it's considered income now.
Yeah.
There is like a $10,000 to $15,000 gift tax. Like I can pay my daughter up to $10,000 to $15,000 a year. Anything after that is taxed.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. So again, going back to what I'm saying right now, again, we just need to find the right vehicle for you to remit the money. Number 2, financial literacy is important. And did you know, guys, that there's a legislative law that's being passed right now that says, I think the law is Bill number 7951, that they're pushing for, if you are an OFW, get 50% off remittance fee.
Oh, okay.
That's a law that's being passed right now.
So the remittance companies
Yeah.
have to give you a rebate.
Yes, definitely. Or they should give outright discount if they're OFW. If their rate right now is 4%, they just need to charge 2%.
Right.
Yeah.
I do think that is a benefit that people need to strategize. Like, I don't think Filipinos strategize enough about taxes, right? And I think, okay, if I work for a corporation, I have to pay income tax. But if I get remittances, I don't have to pay income tax. I mean, in the case that you were talking about, the OFW that sent money back to the family to build a sorry store, the income that the family got, that income, that money, they didn't have to pay taxes on it, and they built a business from it, which
Exactly.
is great,
Yeah.
right? And so that's a nice little strategy there, right? We need to teach more of this stuff. Like you talked about, okay, get rid of the predatory loans. We talked about don't borrow money and pay interest on, don't pay interest on money that you're not making money with.
Yes, it's called bad debt.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you're making money, if you're borrowing money and you're making money on it, then you can grow your wealth.
Yeah, especially when you invest in property,
Right.
when you invest in a growing business, not a starting business.
Yeah.
Definitely that will be a good deal. As a matter of fact, one more story that really moved me. I was on an airport one time, and then somebody approached me and have a photo taken with me, and then said, you know, Chinkee really made an impact and really big change in my life. What do you mean? I'm an OFW in the Middle East. And for the first 10 years of my life, I wasn't saving enough money because I was splurging. I was having the time of my life. And then after reading my book and then following me in my social media, and then something clicked in his mind, and then he realized at his age he has nothing. So ever since that time, he changed his lifestyle, he changed his way of thinking. And fast forward, right now, he has 10 rental apartments, which yields him 200,000 pesos a month.
Nice.
200,000
It's
pesos.
retirement money.
Yeah, but he's still working abroad again. And his philosophy that really moved me, what he told me that really moved me. And I always tell people, it's not because that I'm working now because I need to. I'm working now at Middle East is because I want to. And anytime I come home, I'm already protected. I'm already secured. So I think that should be the OFW dream.
Right. That makes sense.
It's not you earning the money, the big income right now. It's once you retire, you still have the big income. That's the point of retirement. Retirement is not enjoying your life, traveling, going around and doing what you love. Even if you retire, you want to do this, but when you don't have cash flow, when you don't have money, the moment you stop working, you stop earning, but you don't stop spending.
I always thought of retirement as a number.
Yeah.
I always just looked at it as a number. It's not me getting to a certain age and relaxing by the beach.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a sustainable number that you have that produces more numbers for you in terms of cash flow.
Yeah, whenever I coach people, John, I always ask them, okay, if I sit down with them, and I would ask them, based on your investment right now, rate yourself from 1 is to 5. 1 is the lowest, 5 is the highest. How would you rate yourself?
In terms of my investment level?
Yeah, investment level.
Pretty high.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. People say this, that they have only 4 and 5, and I applaud them. But when I ask them the next question, most of the time it goes down.
Okay.
Okay, when you talk about 4 or 5, we're talking about even if you stop working,
Right.
your source of income will never stop.
Right.
Like for example, your source of income right now, your lifestyle, it's 100,000. You say, when I retire, I have 100,000 pesos every month for the rest of my life. Good. So if you stop working right now, based on the investment that you have, the properties, the stocks that you have, is it giving you 100,000 pesos cash every single month?
Right.
And majority of them will say, no. The original number was 5 because they're thinking, I have more than 100,000 already. But when I ask them, the moment you stop work, how much cash flow will come in? And they realize it's not even 20,000. So right now, from number 5, the number goes down to 1.
You know, you said earlier, these OFWs are remitting 50 to 70% of their income back. With 50 to 70%, you can achieve this very easily.
Yeah.
Because it compounds.
Yes.
Now, the next problem I see is, what is that money being spent for? Because I think maybe a proportion of that money needs to be reinvested into something.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
So some of that money, most people, even in America, we don't have 50 to 70% of discretionary income. With all the expenses in our lifestyle, we barely have like 20 or 30, right? And most of that is going towards God knows what.
Yeah.
But 50 to 70, if you are remitting 50 to 70%, you do have a real opportunity to reach early retirement if you know what that number is.
Yeah. Not only retirement, but actually this is not a concern only of the OFWs, but everyone. If you're not even an OFW, it will be your concern. Have you noticed there are 2 things probably that you should ask yourself? Have you ever asked yourself this question at the end of the year, at the end of your lifetime? You ask this question: I made so much money, but where did my money go?
Right.
That's number 1. Number 2, the more you make, the more you spend.
Right.
So when your income was little, it was enough. You have a little savings. You had a little savings. When your income grew bigger, all of a sudden you don't have savings, and then you realize you're in debt.
Right.
So that is a big problem.